deep sea biologist, so that means I'm good under pressure. Right, tell you what though, it's a tough job. It takes loads of reading to keep up with current events. And last week was National Walk to Work Week and I nearly drowned. So you have to excuse me if I flounder about a bit because I'm well out of my depth. I've been feeling quite down in the mouth about doing this, but last night particularly, but it turns out I was just eating my pillow. So we'll get into the actual content. That's the intro done. This is going to be a bit like a scientific paper, you'll probably notice. So here we go with the methods. The way I was thinking about what I was going to say here, and because of the way my mind works and some of yours perhaps, it's going to be like an experiment, right? So the aim is, experiments have got aims and hypotheses, so the aim is to find out whether or not I'm funny. And so to prove that, I need to make 19 out of every 20 of you laugh. So statistics amongst you, you'll get that, but maybe not everyone. Right, so, I'm sorry if I'm dancing around a bit, it looks like I need to pee, I actually do. So, who among you, bearing all that in mind, can tell me what my null hypothesis is going to be in this experiment?
You're not funny.
Thank you! Right, we've got the heckling out of the way. So, right, obviously, as with life and everything, quantification is key. So to find out, when I was planning my set, I was thinking, right, well, what's a good joke? What's a bad joke? Is a good joke a bad joke? So I run all these jokes you're going to hear, past my wife, past a few of my friends, I got them to grade them 0 to 10. So 0 is, so groaning, I hate you. So a good joke, right? So, for example, I lost my mood ring the other day, not sure how to feel. Okay. So, the other end of the scale, you got 10. I mean, the more astute of you amongst you will have worked out I didn't get any 10s. But the best one, the one that got the most laughs, is I bought my daughter some No More Tears shampoo, but no matter how much you rub in her eyes, it doesn't work. So, in the middle of that, you've got 5, so actually that's no reaction. And the optimist in me is, well, that's clearly just a really philosophical, deep joke, like everything's a boomerang if you throw it up. But, more often than not, it was just that they were pretty shit jokes. I've tried to filter some of them out, but I got too many 5s, so you're just going to have to put up with some of them. So, that's my method. So we'll move on to what I've arbitrarily decided is the results section. What it means to be a marine biologist and what people normally say to you. I mean, the top thing people say to me here, since I moved here from Southampton, is you're in Leeds. Leeds isn't by the sea. It's like, they never say that to the rainforest people, the glaciologists. But no, marine biologists have to live in or preferably on the sea. Yep, so I'm just going to look at my script because I've forgotten what I was going to say next. So, the next thing they always say to me is, I wanted to do that when I was a kid. I was like, well, yeah, you grew up. And the one preconception that my mum to this day holds, I've been doing this for like 7 years now, my mum still thinks that I should be working in the Maldives. Right, so she, as soon as I say it, she imagines sun, sea, sand, cocktail, attractive research assistant in skimpy swimwear. And I mean, I was off the coast of Mexico for 5 weeks in the spring, so you probably think, oh, beautiful, sunny, blue skies, clear seas, so I'm told. I actually worked at night in the cold room, so I came back paler than when I left. Yeah. So, and the kind of most pervasive and the most annoying one is, as soon as someone says marine biology to you, you're like, sharks, whales, turtles, dolphins. No, I and a lot of other people like me spend more time studying things like worms, crabs, intestinal infections, STIs, that sort of stuff. So, results done. Right, we'll move on to the discussion. So hopefully this is kind of like funny because it's sad and true. So I talked to you a little bit about how we actually manage the deep sea and how we manage resources in deep sea. So mostly what I'm thinking about is deep sea fishing, deep sea mining, there's oil and gas exploitation, that kind of stuff. So I'll start off with fishing. So give you a bit of a flavour of what it's like. You want to catch some fish, so you string up a massive net, mile wide, between 2 ships, and you go to a place where there are probably some fish that you're interested in. You put lots of chains and steel balls along the edge of this net so that it crunches up everything you find, and you drag it in a straight line for a day or whatever, and then you see what you got at the end of the day. So, I mean, that sounds like an overkill. I'm going to give you a kind of terrestrial analogue. What would that look like if you were trying to catch some cows? So instead of going to a place like a cow field, where there are loads of cows, and kind of corralling them all into one place and scooping them up, what you do instead is go to a place where there might be some cows, you think, and then you string up your big net between two planes and just fly in a dead straight line for 10 hours. So you will catch some cows. You say you fly across Yorkshire, you'll catch some cows, and there's them, right? You catch some sheep, some children, some cars. This is a live catch. You'll also probably catch a nice castle or a church or something, you know, something that's been around for thousands of years. Just like a deep sea coral, for instance. So it's a little known fact that a lot of the deep sea corals you trawl up are sort of maybe 3,000 to 5,000 years old. That's actually a little fact, that's not a joke. Another fact is that the Mariana Trench, deepest part of the ocean, over 7 miles deep, it proves that sea chasm really is the lowest form of wet. That was definitely a 0. So, the last bit I want to talk to you about is you're probably thinking at this point, well, there must be some big international agency, really well funded, that makes sure we don't like desecrate the entire deep sea, right? Because, you know, it's important. And so yeah, you'd be right. There's this, amongst other things, there's the one called the International Seawater Authority, in kind of set up by the UN, and their job is to make sure that every activity that happens on the deep sea floor, in kind of the areas of beyond national jurisdiction, so areas that don't belong to any one country, that the activities are kind of managed and monitored and make sure we don't destroy too much. So, thinking back to, between Mexico and Hawaii, there's this area called the Clarion-Clipperton Zone. It's mostly over 4 kilometers deep. It's covered, the seafloor is covered in metal ores. Okay, so a lot of countries are really interested in mining it because they don't have the minerals of their own. And this is, you know, in the high seas, so common heritage of mankind, which means we can take it, right? So you're probably thinking, well, that's going to take, you know, this area is really understudied. It's going to take dozens of research cruises, years of work to find out what the biodiversity of the region is. Yes, it would, if you weren't the ISA. So what the ISA did was they took a satellite picture of the seafloor, so the coarsest scale imaginable. 1 pixel was 30 by 30 miles. And they said, right, there's a mountainy bit, there's a flat bit, we'll protect those bits. Okay, so to give you another one of patented terrestrial analogues, imagine what we are now in the International Space Station above Europe. We don't know anything about Europe, we've never been there, but we've got to protect all the food. So we're the European Food Conservancy Fund, all of us, congratulations. Right, so you can see down at Europe, you can see there are flat areas, mountainy areas, green areas, brown areas. So you go, right, I'm going to play a flat green area, so Belgium, mountainy green areas in Germany, and mountainy brown areas in Italy. And then everywhere else, that's free for all, go for it, mine it, whatever you want. So when you get down there, you think, well, we've protected pizza, pasta, sausages, waffles, chocolate. Woo! Yeah, exactly. So, we at the European Food Conservancy Fund might say, well, we've protected some loads of good things, right? But we've lost Swedish meatballs, tapas, chorizo, stew, toad in the hole, haggis, whiskey, gin, vodka. I meant a Swedish mulled wine that has rum in it that my supervisor gave me for lunch one day and told me to go back to work. Does not work. So, we've lost all of that. But you think, well, the mining companies will say, well, that only matters to people who like whiskey, or people who like sticky toffee pudding. If you don't like sticky toffee pudding, you just like beer. Doesn't matter. But it's deeper than that. It's actually, so what if, suspend your reality for a minute and think that, what if sticky toffee pudding has amazing medicinal properties? Right? Okay, you probably think at this point that I've completely lost it. I'm aware that the only thing that sticky toffee pudding can cure is not having diabetes. But we are forever finding things like new proteins and new genes in the deep sea that are of tremendous use to us. Things like pharmaceuticals, anti-inflammatories, anti-cancer drugs. We're finding proteins that work at exceptionally high pressure to ward off, or to make industrial processes more efficient. So it becomes more a question about just some loony lefties wanting to protect some stupid, shitty worm that no one's ever heard of. And actually, kind of, this affects all of us. So we should give a shit, right? that's me done. So I'm going to leave you with this. I didn't bring it with me. So, you guys should all have enough data now to decide whether or not you're going to accept or reject my null hypothesis. So if you do accept it, come tell me. If you don't, just...